Everyone loves pandas, but if they're so adorable and peaceful, how did they survive millions of years in the wild? What's the secret behind the panda's strange success? Pandas are often seen as symbols of peace, gentleness, and vulnerability, but behind their charming appearance lies a creature finely tuned for survival. Native to the mountain ranges of central China, primarily in Sichuan, with smaller populations. In Shanxi and Gansu, the giant panda has evolved into one of the most iconic species in the world. These black and white bears belong to the bear family Ursidae, yet they stand apart due to their highly specialized diet and behavior. While most bears are omnivores with strong carnivorous tendencies, pandas are unique in that nearly 99% of their diet consists of bamboo. This odd dietary choice has shaped much of their biology and behavior. Despite being classified as carnivores, pandas have evolved several features to adapt to their herbivorous lifestyle. Their digestive systems are still those of meat eaters, but they consume up to 40 pounds of bamboo daily to extract the minimal nutrition it offers. They have a pseudo-thumb, an extended wrist bone that functions almost like a real thumb, which allows them to grasp bamboo stalks with impressive dexterity. Their teeth and jaw muscles are powerful enough to crush even the thickest bamboo stems, and their large molars are perfect for grinding fibrous plant material. The black and white coloration of the giant panda serves multiple purposes. While it may appear to be a conspicuous pattern, it actually offers both camouflage and communication advantages. The white fur helps them blend into snowy environments, while the black markings on their limbs and shoulders help them disappear into the shadows of the forest. The black patches around their eyes may enhance facial recognition among pandas, or play a role in signaling aggression or identity. Giant pandas are solitary by nature. Each adult maintains a defined territory, and social interactions are minimal. Outside of mating season or between a mother and her cub, communication between pandas includes scent marking, vocalizations, and body language. They use a gland under their tails to secrete scents that communicate reproductive status, territory boundaries, and identity. These scent markings are essential for navigating their world, as pandas do not have good eyesight and rely heavily on their sense of smell. Despite their solitary habits, pandas must interact when it's time to mate. Mating season occurs between March and May. Males compete for access to a receptive female, often engaging in loud vocalizations and physical confrontations. It's during this time that the concept of an alpha panda comes into play. In panda society, there is no strict pack structure like that of wolves, but dominance can still be observed during the mating season. Multiple males may pursue the same female, and the dominant male, the one who can outfight or outlast the others, gains the right to mate. This dominance is not permanent or based on a social hierarchy, but rather on strength, experience, and persistence. The alpha is simply the most successful male at that time. Once mating is complete, the male leaves and plays no role in raising the offspring. Females have a very short window of fertility, lasting only 2 to 3 days each year, making successful reproduction a rare and difficult event. After mating, if fertilization occurs, the embryo may remain in a suspended state, known as delayed implantation, before attaching to the uterine wall. This unique adaptation allows the panda to time the birth of her cubs for optimal environmental conditions. Gestation typically lasts between 95 and 160 days, and most births occur between August and September. Newborn pandas are shockingly small compared to their mothers, weighing only about 100 grams, roughly the size of a stick of butter. They are born blind, hairless, and completely helpless. The mother is intensely protective during this period, cradling the cub in her arms almost constantly. The cub develops quickly over the first few months, growing fur, opening its eyes, and eventually Learning to walk. By 6 months, it starts to explore and nibble on bamboo, though it will continue nursing for up to a year. Cubs typically stay with their mothers for 18 to 24 months before becoming fully independent. In the wild, pandas face numerous challenges. Habitat loss due to logging, agriculture, and infrastructure development has fragmented their range, limiting access to bamboo and making it harder for individuals to find mates. Climate change also threatens the availability of bamboo, which is sensitive to shifts in temperature and precipitation. Furthermore, the low reproductive rate of pandas makes population recovery a slow process. Conservation efforts have been critical to the survival of the species. China has established more than 60 panda reserves, protecting over 70% of the wild panda population. Captive breeding programs have also played a significant role, helping to boost numbers and provide valuable research into panda biology and behavior. Scientists have learned how to better time artificial insemination, care for cubs in captivity, and even train pandas to survive in the wild after being raised in controlled environments. Interestingly, while pandas are solitary in the wild, those in captivity can sometimes display surprising levels of curiosity or even social interaction, particularly when young. Zoo environments, although artificial, can offer insights into panda psychology, preferences, and learning behavior. Pandas can learn routines, recognize keepers, and even solve simple problems to access food rewards. These cognitive abilities underscore the panda's potential for adaptability. Even though their wild lifestyle seems simple and slow-paced, the panda's iconic status has made it a global symbol of conservation. It serves as the logo of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, and is used to rally support for endangered species and environmental protection efforts worldwide. The appeal of pandas lies not only in their appearance, but also in their mysterious and unique way of life. They defy easy classification, blending the physical traits of carnivores with the lifestyle of herbivores, living alone yet maintaining a vital role in a fragile ecosystem. The bamboo diet of pandas is another marvel of adaptation. Bamboo is low in nutrients and difficult to digest, which means pandas must spend up to 14 hours a day eating. They select specific bamboo species and parts young shoots, leaves, or stems, depending on the season and availability. Despite eating so much, they extract only a small amount of energy from their food, which contributes to their generally slow and relaxed behavior. Pandas avoid unnecessary movement to conserve energy, and their daily activities are carefully balanced to meet their minimal energy requirements. However, pandas are not entirely passive. In the wild, they can be territorial, and they are capable of defending themselves if threatened. While they rarely attack humans, they possess the strength and tools to do so if provoked. Their jaws can deliver a powerful bite, and their large size males can weigh up to 250 pounds, makes them formidable when necessary. This side of the panda is often overshadowed by their public image as gentle giants, but it's essential to understanding their survival strategy. Pandas also have an intriguing relationship with their environment. As bamboo forests grow and die in cycles, pandas must travel within their territories to find fresh growth. This migration is vital to their survival, and it shapes how reserves and protected corridors are designed. Pandas indirectly support forest health by spreading seeds through their waste and creating pathways used by other animals. In this way, they act as keystone species, playing a critical role in maintaining ecological balance. Their vocalizations are another surprising aspect of panda life. They produce a range of sounds, including bleats, honks, growls, and barks, each with different meanings. Cubs communicate with their mothers using high-pitched cries, while adults use specific calls during mating season. These sounds help them navigate their solitary lives and maintain awareness of others in the area. Understanding panda communication. has been a focus of both field and captive research, offering a deeper glimpse into their social lives. Despite the many challenges they face, giant pandas are a success story in the world of conservation. Once considered critically endangered, their status was downgraded to vulnerable in 2016, thanks to decades of dedicated work. This does not mean the threat is over, but it does show what is possible when science, policy, and public support come together to protect a species. Continued investment in habitat preservation, climate resilience, and education will be key to ensuring the panda's future. As we look at the panda's journey, from solitary mountain dweller to international icon, it becomes clear that these animals represent more than just cuteness. They embody resilience, mystery, and the delicate balance of nature. Their survival is a testament to the power of focused conservation and a reminder that even the most unusual creatures deserve a place in our world. Even as conservation efforts succeed in stabilizing wild panda populations, many questions about their behavior and biology remain. One area of particular interest is their intelligence and emotional range. While pandas are often seen as lazy or indifferent, studies and observations suggest they are capable of more complex behavior than previously thought. They show curiosity, memory retention, and even signs of playfulness well into adulthood. In captivity, enrichment activities are used to stimulate their minds, and pandas have been seen solving puzzles, recognizing familiar people, and adapting to changes in their environment. These behaviors suggest that while pandas may live slow-paced lives, they are not simple-minded creatures. In their natural habitat, pandas must be resourceful to survive. Though bamboo is abundant, not all of it is edible year-round. Pandas must remember the locations of specific bamboo groves and know when different species produce new shoots or leaves. This requires a level of spatial awareness and seasonal knowledge that is not typically associated with animals seen as slow-moving or passive. Their solitary nature means they must rely on their own skills to navigate terrain, avoid threats, and find food, all without the help of a group or social hierarchy for support. The process of reintroducing captive-bred pandas into the wild has also revealed much about their learning ability and adaptability. Cubs raised in semi-wild enclosures with minimal human interaction have a higher chance of surviving when released. These pandas must learn to climb trees, find bamboo, recognize predators, and establish territory on their own. Trainers often use decoys and hidden food to simulate real-world conditions, helping the pandas build skills needed for independence. This method of rewilding is still evolving, but it demonstrates that pandas are capable of learning and adapting in complex ways. Despite their reputation for solitude, pandas exhibit a surprising amount of social behavior during the mating season. As males compete for access to females, they must navigate not only physical challenges, but also social cues and timing. Females will often call out and leave scent marks to signal readiness, and males must interpret these messages accurately. Dominant males, the temporary alphas, are usually those who have both the physical strength and the experience to respond effectively to these signals. Their success depends not only on brute force, but also on strategy and timing. They may shadow a female's territory for days, ward off rivals, and wait patiently for the brief window of opportunity to mate. Afterward, the dominance disappears, and the male returns to his solitary life. Another aspect of panda life that reflects their adaptability is how they handle environmental changes. While habitat loss has driven them into smaller areas, pandas have demonstrated an ability to alter their behavior in response. They may shift elevation ranges, change feeding patterns, or even become more nocturnal to avoid human disturbances. This flexibility is vital in a world where natural landscapes are constantly changing. Still, such adaptations have limits, and without continued conservation efforts, even the most flexible species can be pushed beyond their ability to to survive. In the mountains of Sichuan, researchers have used motion-triggered cameras to capture rare footage of wild pandas in their natural settings. These glimpses reveal animals that are alert, cautious, and highly aware of their surroundings. They climb steep slopes with surprising agility, mark trees with scent to communicate presence, and carefully choose bedding sites for rest. These behaviors speak to a life that is both demanding and finely tuned to its environment. Far from being clumsy or helpless, wild pandas exhibit the skills and instincts needed to thrive in a rugged, competitive landscape. Pandas also experience stress and must find ways to cope with it. In captivity, signs of stress include pacing, excessive grooming, or loss of appetite. To combat this, zoos and breeding centers implement enrichment strategies designed to mimic natural challenges: logs to climb, food hidden in puzzles, varied feeding routines, and quiet areas for rest. These interventions aim to preserve the panda's mental health and prevent the development of stereotypical behaviors. In the wild, stress comes from territorial disputes, limited food, and environmental instability. Pandas may respond by relocating to less competitive areas, changing their activity times, or using subtle avoidance strategies to steer clear of threats. One of the most remarkable aspects of pandas is the way their appearance has captivated human imagination. Their large, expressive eyes, framed by black patches, give the illusion of human-like emotion. Their round faces and playful movements evoke a sense of innocence and approachability. This baby schema triggers a nurturing instinct in people, making them highly effective animal ambassadors. But this popularity can be a double-edged sword. While it draws attention to conservation, it can also oversimplify the complex reality of panda life, reducing them to mascots instead of recognizing them as wild animals with intricate needs and behaviors. The physiology of pandas also provides interesting insights. Their thick fur keeps them warm in cold mountain climates, while their relatively large size helps retain body heat. They do not hibernate like some other bears, but may become less active in colder months. Their paws have 5 fingers and a thumb-like extension, allowing for precise manipulation of bamboo. Their sense of smell is acute, crucial for communication and navigation, especially since their vision is limited to short distances. Their hearing, however, is quite sensitive and helps them detect approaching animals or human presence. In terms of reproduction, the survival of panda cubs depends heavily on maternal care. Because cubs are born so small and underdeveloped, mother must provide constant warmth, nutrition, and protection. Most births result in a single cub, although twins are not uncommon. In the wild, a mother will usually care for only one cub, abandoning the other if she cannot support both. In captivity, zookeepers intervene by switching twins in and out of the mother's care to ensure both survive. This technique, known as cub swapping, has increased the survival rate of twin births and helped boost the captive population. The development of a panda cub is a slow and delicate process. The first few weeks are spent entirely in the den, with the mother leaving only briefly to eat or drink. As the cub grows, it begins to crawl and explore, eventually venturing outside the den. It starts eating bamboo around 6 months, but continues to nurse for up to a year. During this time, the mother teaches the cub essential survival skills: climbing, recognizing threats, and finding food. By 2 years old, the cub is ready to leave its mother and establish its own territory, continuing the cycle of solitary. Panda Life. Climate change presents an ongoing challenge for panda conservation. As temperatures rise and rainfall patterns shift, bamboo forests may decline or migrate to higher elevations. This forces pandas to follow the bamboo, which can lead to increased isolation and fragmentation. Conservationists are working to create forest corridors that connect isolated habitats, allowing pandas to move more freely and maintain genetic diversity. These corridors are essential for long-term survival, as inbreeding and genetic bottlenecks can weaken populations and reduce resilience. In addition to protecting wild habitats, China has developed a robust panda diplomacy program, sending captive pandas to zoos around the world as symbols of goodwill. These agreements often include breeding partnerships and funding for conservation research. While some criticize this as political strategy, it has undeniably raised global awareness and contributed to the species' survival. Pandas in foreign zoos are closely monitored and are part of an international database that tracks genetics, health, and breeding outcomes, ensuring that efforts are coordinated and effective. Research into panda genetics has also advanced significantly. Scientists have sequenced the panda genome and identified genes responsible for traits like bamboo digestion, fur color, and reproduction. This knowledge helps in managing captive populations and understanding evolutionary adaptations. Genetic diversity is carefully maintained through breeding programs that avoid inbreeding and prioritize pairings that will strengthen the overall health of the species. Ultimately, the giant panda is a testament to the resilience of life in the face of adversity. Its survival depends on a delicate interplay between natural instincts, environmental stability, and human support. From the rugged mountains of China to the climate-controlled enclosures of international zoos, pandas continue to inspire awe and admiration. Their story is one of adaptation, perseverance, and hope, a reminder that even in a rapidly changing world, we can still protect the wild and the wonderful if we choose to act. Beyond their physical adaptations and behavioral patterns, pandas also play a significant cultural role, especially in China, where they are considered national treasures. Their presence in Chinese folklore dates back centuries, symbolizing peace, friendship, and harmony. In ancient times, pandas were thought to have mystical powers, and their pelts were considered highly valuable. Over time, their image has become associated not only with cultural pride, but also with modern environmental consciousness. The Chinese government has invested heavily in panda conservation, viewing the species not just as a biological priority, but as a powerful diplomatic and ecological symbol. Panda diplomacy, which began in the 1950s, continues to this day, with pandas loaned to foreign zoos as part of international partnerships. These arrangements typically include significant financial contributions that are funneled back into panda conservation programs in China. Each panda remains the property of China, and any offspring born abroad are also considered Chinese citizens and must eventually return to participate in breeding programs. This system allows for global collaboration while ensuring centralized oversight of genetic health and population management. It also reinforces the idea of the panda as a shared global responsibility in their natural habitats. Pandas rely on elevation to navigate seasonal changes. They migrate vertically along mountain slopes to find bamboo at the right stage of growth. This behavior helps them manage the nutritional quality of their diet throughout the year, as different bamboo species and parts offer varying levels of protein, fiber, and moisture. During the spring, they favor new shoots, which are rich in nutrients, while in the winter, they may resort to older stalks and leaves. Their ability to switch between species and parts allows them to survive in environments that are constantly in flux due to weather, human impact, and natural plant cycles. Future of pandas depends heavily on our ability to maintain and expand suitable habitats. While protected reserves have helped stabilize the population, many of these areas are still isolated from one another. Without connectivity, pandas cannot disperse, find new mates, or adapt to shifting resources. Wildlife corridors, reforestation, efforts, and community engagement are essential components of modern conservation strategy. Encouraging local populations to participate in conservation through sustainable farming, ecotourism, and education helps build a more stable and far supportive environment for both humans and wildlife. Technological advancements have also played a key role in panda research. GPS collars, camera traps, and remote sensors have allowed scientists to monitor wild pandas with minimal disturbance. These tools provide critical insights into territory size, movement patterns, and mating behavior. Data collected from the wild is compared with observations in captivity to refine our understanding of what pandas need to thrive. In turn, this information helps improve habitat design, feeding strategies, and medical care for captive pandas, bridging the gap between artificial and natural environments. Health care for pandas, both wild and captive, has become increasingly sophisticated. Veterinary teams are trained specifically in panda physiology and are prepared to handle a wide range of medical issues, from dental problems to digestive disorders. Regular health checks, vaccinations, and blood tests are standard in captive settings. For wild pandas, conservation teams perform non-invasive monitoring through fecal analysis and other remote methods. These efforts ensure that individuals are healthy and that populations remain stable and disease-free. Breeding remains one of the most challenging aspects of panda conservation. Females are fertile for just 2 to 3 days per year and successful. Mating often requires perfect timing and compatibility. In cases where natural mating fails, artificial insemination is used. This process involves collecting sperm from a male and introducing it into the female at the optimal time in her cycle. Success rates have improved dramatically in recent years, thanks to advances in hormone tracking and reproductive science. When cubs are born, they are raised in carefully controlled environments with round-the-clock care to maximize survival. Maternal behavior among pandas is both fascinating and critical to cub development. In the wild, a mother will remain in her den with the newborn for several weeks, venturing out only briefly to eat and drink. During this time, her focus is entirely on keeping the cub warm, fed, and protected. The bond between mother and cub is extremely strong, and cubs are often seen clinging to their mothers, even as they grow older and more mobile. In captivity, this behavior is replicated as closely as possible, with caretakers stepping in only when necessary to assist or provide additional support. The dispersal of young pandas is a key moment in their lives. Around the age of 2, the mother gradually begins to distance herself from the cub, encouraging it to explore and eventually leave the area. This transition can be difficult for the cub, but it is essential for independence and territory formation. In the wild, pandas require large home ranges, often several square kilometers in size, depending on bamboo density and terrain. Establishing a territory involves scent marking, exploration, and avoidance of other adults, especially aggressive males. While panda populations have grown in recent years, genetic diversity remains a concern. Inbreeding can lead to health problems and reduced adaptability. Conservationists manage genetic diversity through careful record keeping and planned pairings in captive populations. Software tools are used to simulate potential offspring and predict genetic outcomes. This helps ensure that each new cub contributes positively to the overall health of the species. In the wild, maintaining diversity depends on habitat connectivity and population mixing, which are priorities for landscape-scale conservation initiatives. Cultural perceptions of pandas continue to evolve. Once seen as elusive forest dwellers, they are now global icons featured in cartoons, merchandise, and conservation campaigns. This visibility is a double-edged sword, brings attention and funding, but also the risk of oversimplifying complex ecological and behavioral truths. Conservationists work to balance public interest with scientific accuracy, using the panda's popularity to highlight broader environmental issues such as deforestation, climate change, and biodiversity loss. Public engagement plays a crucial role in panda conservation. Visitor programs at zoos and reserves educate millions about panda biology, threats, and conservation efforts. Interactive exhibits, documentaries, and social media bring the story of the panda to people around the world, fostering empathy and support. In local communities near panda habitats, education programs teach sustainable land use practices and the importance of preserving natural resources. When people understand the value of the ecosystem, they are more likely to protect it. In many ways, the story of the panda is a story about coexistence. It reflects the tension between development and conservation, between human needs and environmental stewardship. Pandas show us that even species on the brink can recover when given space, time, and care. Their survival is not just about protecting one animal, but about safeguarding entire ecosystems that support countless forms of life. The ongoing success of panda conservation serves as a model for other endangered species. It demonstrates the power of collaboration, from local farmers to international scientists, from government officials to zoo visitors. Each plays a role in shaping a future where wildlife can flourish. And while pandas may remain in the spotlight, the lessons learned from their protection can be applied to many others facing similar threats. Ultimately, pandas are more than just symbols or subjects of research. They are living, breathing reminders of nature's complexity and resilience. As long as we continue to respect, understand, and protect them, they will continue to inspire wonder and hope for generations to come. Though much has been accomplished in panda conservation, it is essential to understand that this success is still fragile. The ecosystems that support pandas are complex, interwoven with countless other species of plants, insects, birds, and mammals. Protecting pandas inadvertently protects these broader communities. The temperate forests where pandas live are biodiversity hotspots, home to red pandas, toucans, golden monkeys, and numerous endemic species of birds and amphibians. By conserving panda habitat, we safeguard an entire ecosystem that has evolved over millennia. This approach, sometimes referred to as umbrella species conservation, focuses on protecting one high-profile species with the understanding that doing so will benefit many others that share the habitat. Ecotourism has emerged as another tool for supporting panda conservation. Carefully managed tourism can provide income for local communities, fund research, and raise awareness among visitors. However, it must be balanced against the risk of habitat disruption, stress to animals, and commercialization that strays from conservation goals. The best ecotourism models are those that limit human impact, educate tourists on ethical behavior, and reinvest revenue into the protection of habitats and the well-being of local people. China's dedication to panda conservation includes not only scientific institutions, but also an extensive legal framework. Poaching, once a serious threat, has been drastically reduced thanks to strict laws and enforcement. Illegal logging has also declined, and reforestation projects have expanded panda habitat. These national-level policies demonstrate that wildlife protection requires not just passion, but long-term political and financial commitment. Local communities, empowered with education and economic alternatives, have become some of the strongest allies in preserving panda territory. Beyond China, international cooperation remains vital. Global zoos that host pandas take part in coordinated breeding programs, share data, and contribute financially to panda protection in the wild. These partnerships emphasize that panda conservation is a global responsibility, reflecting our shared interest in preserving biodiversity. In a world where species extinction continues at an alarming rate, the collaborative efforts to save the panda offer a rare and encouraging example of what can be achieved when science, policy, and public support aligned. In recent years, satellite imagery and drone technology have further enhanced our ability to monitor panda habitats. Researchers can now track deforestation, plant growth, and environmental changes in real time, allowing for faster and more targeted conservation responses. Machine learning algorithms analyze vast data sets to identify patterns in panda movement, habitat usage, and even the effects of human activity on their behavior. These tools not only improve our understanding of panda ecology but also help predict and prevent future threats. One area of continuing research is the panda's gut microbiome. Despite eating almost exclusively bamboo, pandas have the digestive system of a carnivore, meaning their bodies are not well equipped to extract nutrients from plant material. Studies of their intestinal bacteria have revealed that certain microbes help pandas break down cellulose and extract energy from bamboo. Scientists are exploring whether dietary supplements or microbiome management could improve panda health, particularly in captivity. This research also has broader implications for understanding digestive evolution in mammals. Panda cub development has also become a major focus in the breeding centers. Caretakers monitor cubs closely from birth, tracking their growth, mobility, and behavior. Special attention is given to socialization and play, which are critical to the cub's mental and physical development. Cubs are provided with climbing structures, toys, and sometimes even interactions with other young pandas to help them learn coordination and social cues. As they grow older, those selected for re-wilding programs are gradually exposed to increasingly natural conditions, reducing human contact and encouraging independent behavior. The selection process for potential alpha males in breeding programs also incorporates behavioral observations and health metrics. Dominant males are often those who demonstrate confidence, physical strength, and positive responses to female scent markers. In captivity, these behaviors are carefully evaluated, and males may be paired with specific females based on genetic compatibility and observed chemistry. While wild dominance is determined through competition and timing, captive breeding attempts to simulate this dynamic while ensuring genetic health. This process reflects the blend of science and instinct that defines modern panda management. Concept of an alpha in pandas, particularly in the wild, is a temporary role rather than a fixed status. Since pandas are solitary, there is no lasting social hierarchy. However, during the mating season, certain males may assert temporary dominance based on size, strength, and experience. These males may fight rivals, vocalize, and remain near a receptive female for extended periods, all in hopes of mating successfully. Once the season ends, these dominant behaviors recede, and pandas return to their isolated routines. The idea of an alpha panda, then, is less about social rank and more about reproductive success during critical windows of opportunity. Panda communication, while subtle, plays a vital role in their interactions. Vocalizations include bleats, chirps, honks, and growls, each with distinct meanings. For example, bleats are often used during mating season to signal interest or presence. Cubs emit high-pitched squeals to signal distress, and mothers respond immediately. Scent marking is equally important, providing information about sex, age, reproductive status, and territory boundaries. Pandas rub their scent glands on trees, rocks, and even the ground, leaving a chemical trail that can be interpreted by others. This olfactory language is central to panda society and compensates for their limited visual communication. Pandas also display distinct personalities, which influence how they respond to training, enrichment, and social situations. Some are more curious and outgoing, while others are shy or cautious. Recognizing and adapting to these traits helps caretakers tailor their approach to each individual, improving health outcomes and quality of life. Personality profiling is even considered in breeding decisions, as compatibility between pandas can affect mating success and cub rearing. These insights reveal a deeper emotional and cognitive complexity than many people expect from such seemingly placid animals. In terms of movement, pandas are agile climbers and swimmers, especially when young. Cubs often climb trees as a form of play and to escape perceived threats. Adults also use trees for rest, scent marking, or vantage points. Their strong limbs and flexible joints make them capable of navigating steep terrain and dense vegetation. While they usually move slowly, they can run surprisingly fast for short distances if startled or provoked. These capabilities help them survive in mountainous environments where agility and spatial awareness are crucial. One overlooked aspect of panda life is their nocturnal and crepuscular tendencies. While often thought of as diurnal, many wild pandas are most active at dawn, dusk, or even during the night. This behavior helps them avoid human activity and reduce competition with other species. Motion-activated cameras have shown pandas traveling, feeding, and scent marking at all hours, indicating a level of behavioral flexibility. This adaptability is key to surviving in fragmented or human-impacted habitats, where daytime movement might be riskier. Finally, the emotional bond between humans and pandas remains one of the most powerful forces in conservation. Few animals elicit such a universal response of affection and wonder. This emotional connection has been instrumental in driving funding, public support, and political will for panda protection. It has also inspired generations of scientists, volunteers, and conservationists to dedicate their lives to understanding and preserving this unique species. Through education, media, and first-hand encounters, the panda continues to remind us of the beauty and fragility of the natural world and our role in protecting it. Despite all the knowledge we've gained about pandas, there is still a great deal to learn. Many aspects of their behavior in the wild remain mysterious due to the remote and rugged terrain they inhabit. Even with modern technology, observing pandas in their natural environment is challenging, and much of what we know comes from a combination of field data and controlled studies in breeding centers. The interplay between these two sources of information continues to refine our understanding of their biology and ecology. One important area of ongoing research is the seasonal dynamics of bamboo forests. Because bamboo is a monoculture plant that periodically dies off en masse, pandas must navigate the risk of starvation if entire areas of bamboo flower and die simultaneously. Historical die-offs have led to panda population declines and forced migration. Scientists now track bamboo flowering cycles and work to ensure that pandas have access to multiple species and age classes of bamboo across different elevations. This redundancy in bamboo availability helps buffer the population from sudden food shortages and allows for more stable habitat planning. Rewilding efforts remain a central focus in the effort to increase the number of self-sustaining panda populations. Not all pandas raised in captivity are suitable for release. The ideal candidates are those raised with minimal human contact, who have demonstrated competence in climbing, foraging, and reacting appropriately to threats. The process of preparing a panda for the wild is slow and methodical. Cubs are often raised with their mothers in semi-wild enclosures, surrounded by natural forest, where they are monitored remotely. Trainers avoid direct contact and use disguises or hidden observation points to minimize human imprinting. Only those pandas that show true independence and appropriate responses to environmental stimuli are considered. Ready for reintroduction. Released pandas are fitted with GPS collars and monitored closely for months or even years after release. Conservation teams track their movement, habitat use, diet, and social interactions to assess whether the animal is thriving. These rewilding cases are still relatively few, but each successful release offers valuable lessons and proof that captive bred pandas can adapt to life in the wild. It also builds momentum and support for future reintroductions, helping shift the focus from captive maintenance to true population recovery in nature. In urban environments, pandas have become unlikely symbols of modern environmental consciousness. Through television programs, films, books, and digital media, they reach audiences far removed from their mountain homes. Children around the world grow up seeing pandas as gentle, lovable creatures, and this emotional imprint has a powerful effect. It fosters empathy for animals, curiosity about nature, and support for wildlife conservation. Pandas have helped humanize environmental issues, turning abstract problems like habitat loss and climate change into tangible stories that people can relate to and care about. Behind the scenes, many unsung heroes work tirelessly to ensure pandas continue to thrive. Researchers spend months in the field gathering data, often under difficult and dangerous conditions. Veterinarians develop new treatments and monitor health conditions that affect aging or vulnerable pandas. Breeding specialists must make difficult decisions about pairings, pregnancies, and cub rearing, all while striving to minimize human intervention. Local conservation officers patrol reserves, repair fences, and prevent poaching or illegal logging. These combined efforts form the backbone of panda conservation and remind us that it takes a global village to protect a single species. Another emerging field in panda conservation is the study of behavior through AI and machine learning. Analyzing hours of footage from camera traps and video monitoring in breeding centers, algorithms can detect patterns in movement, posture, and interaction. These insights allow for early detection of illness, stress, or changes in reproductive status. AI also helps in automating habitat assessments, predicting bamboo growth trends, and modeling climate impacts on panda territory. As technology continues to improve, these tools will play a greater role in managing wild and captive panda populations more efficiently and accurately. The longevity of pandas in captivity has improved significantly over the past few decades. While wild pandas typically live around 15 to 20 years, those in managed care can live well into their 30s. This extended lifespan provides opportunities for long-term study and multi-generational breeding programs, but it also introduces challenges, such as age-related illness, reduced fertility, and the need for geriatric care. Special diets, medical treatments, and physical therapy are often used to maintain quality of life for older pandas. These insights also guide how we prepare young pandas for life in the wild, ensuring they are at peak health and ability when reintroduced. One topic that continues to spark debate is the ethical responsibility of keeping pandas in captivity. On one hand, captive breeding has been instrumental in preventing extinction, and well-managed zoos contribute financially and scientifically to conservation. On the other hand, critics argue that the artificial environments, while improving, can never fully replicate the complexity of the wild. Questions remain about animal autonomy, psychological well-being, and the long-term impact of a life behind barriers. The best programs strive to balance welfare with conservation goals, always seeking to reduce stress, encourage natural behaviors, and promote eventual return to the wild where feasible. Pandas' quiet, solitary lives may seem uneventful at first glance, but this very simplicity is deceptive. Their survival strategy, based on low-energy living, resource specialization, and avoidance of conflict, is a finely tuned adaptation to their niche environment. They exemplify how evolution doesn't always favor speed, aggression, or social cooperation. Sometimes the key to survival lies in patience, specialization, and resilience. The panda's story is not one of dominance or expansion, but of careful balance with its surroundings, a lesson that resonates deeply in today's rapidly changing world. The emotional range of pandas, though not fully understood, is another area of interest. Observers have reported signs of contentment, frustration, curiosity, and grief. Pandas form attachments not only to caretakers, but also to objects and routines. Some become upset when their environment changes, while others adapt easily. Cubs in particular demonstrate high levels of play behavior, including somersaults, mock fighting, and climbing games. These behaviors are important for muscle development, coordination, and learning. Adult pandas also engage in occasional play, especially in comfortable and familiar settings, suggesting that their emotional complexity may be greater than previously believed. In the coming years, panda conservation will face new challenges. Urban expansion, infrastructure development, and climate volatility all threaten the delicate balance that supports panda life. Policymakers, scientists, and the public will need to remain vigilant and proactive. Building ecological resilience means not only preserving what exists, but anticipating future changes and adapting strategies accordingly. Continued investment in science, education, and community-based conservation will be critical. As technology, knowledge, and awareness grow, the story of the panda may continue to serve as a beacon of what is possible in conservation. Their journey, from the edge of extinction to global symbol of hope, illustrates the power of human effort when guided by empathy and science. It shows that even the most vulnerable creatures can recover if given the chance, and that our connection to nature can inspire real, lasting change. In the end, pandas remind us of something essential, that the beauty of life lies not only in strength and speed, but in harmony, gentleness, and the quiet persistence to survive against the odds. Their story is far from over. It is one that continues to evolve, shaped by every decision we make, about how we live, what we protect, and who we choose to care for. The future of giant pandas stands as a symbol of both hope and ongoing challenge in the realm of wildlife conservation. Over the past several decades, the giant pandas population has experienced a slow but steady increase, a result of intense conservation efforts led by the Chinese government alongside international partners and scientists around the world. These efforts have included the establishment of numerous panda reserves, reforestation projects aimed at restoring and expanding bamboo forests, and the implementation of captive breeding programs designed to bolster wild populations. However, despite these encouraging signs, giant pandas still face significant threats that could jeopardize their survival if not addressed with continued vigilance and commitment. One of the primary challenges to the giant panda's long-term survival is habitat fragmentation. The mountain ranges where pandas live have been increasingly broken up by human activities such as agriculture, infrastructure development, and logging. This fragmentation isolates panda populations, reducing genetic diversity and limiting their ability to migrate between suitable habitat patches to find food or mates. Connectivity between habitats is crucial for maintaining healthy populations, so wildlife corridors and protected forest areas that allow pandas to move freely are key priorities in modern conservation strategies. Climate change adds another layer of complexity to these challenges. Bamboo, the giant panda's main food source, grows best under very specific climate conditions. Changes in temperature and precipitation patterns could shift or shrink bamboo forests, forcing pandas to adapt to new conditions or relocate to find sufficient food. Scientists are closely monitoring these potential impacts through ecological modeling and field studies to predict how panda habitats might change in the coming decades and to develop adaptive conservation plans that could include assisted migration or habitat restoration in newly suitable areas. Beyond ecological factors, human-wildlife conflict remains a concern, albeit less pronounced for pandas than for many other species. Increasing human presence in panda habitats can lead to disturbance, competition for resources, and even poaching, despite legal protections. Community-based conservation efforts that involve local people as stewards of panda habitats have proven effective in reducing conflicts and fostering sustainable coexistence. These initiatives often include education programs, economic incentives tied to ecotourism, and collaborative forest management, helping transform potential threats into opportunities for conservation and local development. The biological and behavioral uniqueness of giant pandas makes their conservation particularly complex and fascinating. Unlike many solitary animals, pandas have a strict dietary dependence on bamboo, which itself undergoes periodic flowering and die-offs. During these flowering events, bamboo stalks die off en masse after releasing seeds, which can leave pandas without their primary food source and force them to migrate long distances in search of fresh bamboo. These natural cycles, combined with human pressures, require conservationists to consider dynamic and sometimes unpredictable changes when planning for panda habitat management. The reproduction of giant pandas also presents challenges that directly impact population growth. Pandas have a very narrow breeding window each year, and the female is fertile only for 2 to 3 days. Finding mates during this brief period can be difficult in fragmented populations, and even in captivity, panda breeding requires significant expertise and often artificial intervention. The process by which male pandas compete to become dominant, or alpha males, is a key factor during breeding seasons. Alpha males establish their status primarily through scent marking, localizations, and physical displays that minimize the risk of injury while ensuring the strongest individuals have access to females in estrus. This social structure, though less aggressive than some other species, plays a crucial role in natural selection and genetic health of panda populations. Understanding the complex social and reproductive behaviors of pandas has allowed conservationists to improve captive breeding programs by mimicking natural conditions and timing. Successful births and the survival of cubs in these programs have contributed valuable individuals that sometimes can be reintroduced into the wild to boost genetic diversity and population numbers. Nonetheless, reintroduction remains a delicate process that requires careful preparation and monitoring to ensure pandas can adapt and thrive outside captivity. Public interest and affection for pandas have been vital drivers of their conservation success. The giant panda's status as a cultural icon and symbol of wildlife preservation has helped channel significant resources and global attention to their plight. Efforts such as panda diplomacy, where pandas are loaned to international zoos, have increased awareness and funding for conservation projects, both in China and worldwide. Moreover, the panda's symbolic value has extended to broader environmental awareness campaigns, promoting the protection of entire ecosystems and numerous other species that share. Panda habitats. Education also plays a pivotal role in the future of panda conservation. Raising awareness among local communities, tourists, and the global public about the ecological importance of pandas and their habitats helps build a culture of stewardship and respect for nature. School programs, media campaigns, and interactive experiences with pandas in controlled environments help foster empathy and motivate people to support conservation actions, whether through donations, advocacy, or changes in lifestyle that reduce environmental impact. The giant panda also serves as a flagship species for the conservation of mountainous forest ecosystems in China. Protecting pandas helps safeguard thousands of other plant and animal species that share the same environment. These forests provide crucial ecosystem services such as water regulation, carbon storage, and soil preservation that benefit both wildlife and human populations. By conserving panda habitats, efforts also contribute to global climate change mitigation and biodiversity preservation. Looking ahead, the integration of modern technology and traditional conservation methods offers new hope for pandas. Advances such as GPS tracking, remote camera traps, genetic analysis, And habitat modeling allows scientists to gather detailed data on panda movements, health, and behavior. These tools enhance the ability to respond quickly to threats, identify critical habitat corridors, and monitor the success of conservation initiatives. At the same time, working with local communities to incorporate traditional ecological knowledge and sustainable practices ensures that conservation is culturally sensitive and economically viable. In conclusion, the story of the giant panda is a remarkable example of how human dedication and scientific understanding can influence the fate of an endangered species. From their unique adaptations to bamboo to their complex social behaviors, including the establishment of alpha males during the short breeding season, to the ongoing challenges posed by habitat loss and climate change, pandas embody the delicate balance between survival and extinction. Their ongoing recovery reminds us that conservation is a long-term commitment requiring cooperation, innovation, and respect for nature's complexity. By continuing to support panda conservation, protect and reconnect their habitats, and raise awareness of the broader environmental issues that affect them, we can ensure that giant pandas remain a living symbol of hope and resilience. The giant panda's future depends on our willingness to act decisively and compassionately, preserving not only an iconic species, but also the rich natural world that sustains all life on Earth. The giant panda's story is far from over, and together we can help write the next chapters of survival, coexistence, and a deeper understanding of our planet's precious biodiversity. Giant pandas remind us of the delicate balance between nature and humanity. While their future still faces challenges like habitat loss and climate change, the progress made through conservation efforts gives hope. By protecting their bamboo forests and supporting breeding programs, we can ensure these gentle giants continue to thrive. Their story is not just about survival, but about how humans and wildlife can coexist. As we learn more about pandas, from their unique behaviors to how they become alphas during breeding season, we deepen our connection to the natural world. Protecting pandas means protecting the health of entire ecosystems, and with ongoing dedication, their future can be bright.